What's up everybody and welcome back to the YouTube channel. How is everybody? I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. We're going to do a everything delts. Everything delts. We're going to talk about the things that I've done to bring up my delts the most, beyond of the obvious of sticking a needle in me. Because we know there's a lot of difference when you do start that journey, delt-wise. But we're going to talk more specifically about the exercises, the way that I'm thinking about progressing, the way that I'm thinking about, warming myself up so I'm ready for that set, and how I'm going to program my exercises to grow the delts, or grow my delts as much as possible. I went for a push session, so there's a little bit of chest in there as well, but this is the delt dominant day, so let's get to it. So we're going to come into our first exercise here. This is going to be a cuffed crucifix lateral raise. Now this is different to the lying lateral raise for a few reasons. Number one, your bench is going to come up on a slight incline here. And the focus is not going to be lining up, if you can remember the last previous push video, if not, no worries. But whereas with a lying lateral raise, we're trying to line up the cuffs and lie down and just fully lateral raise, like an abduct at the arm. Here, this is much more external rotation and much more like you start position is at the front rather than the side, and you're coming out like you're being pinned onto a crucifix, hence the name. So you do have that like adduction, but you have the external rotation as well. It just offers yourself to go through that range of motion, which is a function of the delts and all the delts in the shoulder girdle. So if you're not going through that range of motion, I would definitely recommend you to do that, because it is a toaster of an exercise. Oh, it's annoying being quite strong. Get one more on there. These 25s are much harder. So this is 5 20 plates, 2 25s. This is like a 10 kilo all-time PB, so let's see how we get on with this one. I don't think Cal's done more than this. I remember I messaged Cal once. In fact, it was only a couple of weeks ago. I sent him a video of me doing like the 7 plates and 25. He said if you get another 25 on there, he'll come down and put 8 on here. We need some more room though. We're running out of it. Oos! Oh, I feel like my kneecap's gonna pop out. Shit. So one thing I want you guys to know is when you're loading up a press, is that you don't get into a, you don't take that lateral delt through a full range of motion, right? Because to get your delt to a full range of motion, you get into the most stretched out position, which is here, to the shortest position, which is here. But if you know that if you're already here, for example, with just this press here, You know, the delt is not really changed here. It's getting shorter, it's getting shorter, it's getting shorter, and actually it does finish in quite a short place, because when we think about the most contracted it can be, it's like but here. So you do finish here, but you don't work that fully lengthened range, or you know, you don't work that short range to the full maximum potential. So for me, if you don't have to use a shoulder press, you don't have to use a reverse incline shoulder press, you don't have to do any of those shoulder presses in order for you to get some good delts. What you need to do is take those delts to a full range of motion through as much volume as you can handle to recover from, and you're going to grow really well. Does that mean that a shoulder press doesn't have a place? No. It can be used as part of your arsenal, but just know that something like this is naturally restricted because it doesn't take you through that, you know, that extreme length and range. It doesn't take you through that extreme shorten range. It just kind of hovers between the two, but you can still load that quite well. So I still do see a benefit of you doing it. Just know that it's not essential amount of effort to go to the next exercise. So we're going to move into a reverse banded Smith incline. In short, the reverse band is basically matching where the pec is strong and light, and it's going to make you be able to fail a little bit later on the exercise. We've talked about this many times on the channel before, so we don't need to go into it. I generally would not classify this as either chest or delt. I would just call this like an upper shelf exercise, because you are going to get a lot of front delt here. You're going to get a lot of the upper chest as well, which is not everyone can do with more upper delt, and you will still receive some stimulus from the lateral delts as well. But this is not like a lateral delt slabber. This is very much a front movement where you're just trying to stick some gaps there and fill those gaps in. So yeah, I'm just going to do a couple sets in here as well, and then we'll move to something a little bit different. That's pretty good. I think, like for me, when I'm working out my top sets, I'm very much like every single warm-up set, like we said in the previous exercise, I'm kind of assessing how I feel. I was saying, you know, might have heard me after a few of the sets, like I feel good today, I feel strong today, things are clicking. Had a good old bit of sushi last night, so I'm full. And I'm reaping those rewards because I'm taking those increases in weight where I can get them now. Even at the end of my mesocycle, I've been training for, you know, 7-8 weeks accumulatively, and this is my top volume. You know, when it's there, take it. When it's there, take it. When it's not, just hold it. And that way you can just keep nudging more tissue on. So one thing I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to sit my seat so that my joints are in line. So that means my shoulder, my elbow, my wrist. Like my wrist isn't in, my wrist isn't out. It's pretty much just in line, and I can just focus on driving across the midline, thinking about elbows across, like not just trying to bring your fists together, thinking about your elbows across. So I set this, just put my joints nicely in line, get myself into my starting position, just push across that midline. Just do a little pause in there just to reduce any inertia. I don't want to bounce it, I just like to hold that tension, explode through again. So we know the focus today is largely on that kind of the upper band of muscle. So we're only just going to do 2-3 sets here. We're going to do my second set in a rest pause, just 2 on the flat to get that big chunk of muscle, that big costal cuff, that big lower pec, and then done, because we've done the rest of our pec work earlier on in the week. This is just top up. So last set on this. in that first exercise, we very much started at the front of our bodies and did that full kind of external rotation. We're now going to work that delt through a full length and range with like a standing crossover. So you can just make sure you're putting these cables to like knee height, maybe where your wrists fall naturally. And you can already see I'm getting tension, that length and range. That's the most lengthened that I can be right now as a delt. Unless you want to like cross over like this, it's not very comfy. You're getting tension here, you're getting tension here, you're getting tension here. Now it drops off, but we're also weak up here. So it makes sense for it to drop off. So you've got that full tension throughout the full range of this motion. We're just going to use this 3 sets and just absolutely toast these delts off. So if we break down this delt workout, we can think we worked really, really well on that short range, a little bit in the mid range. Then we loaded up that mid and lengthened range a little bit with that shoulder press, like meat and bones. Let's fucking load some weight on, right? So nice and warm, work that short range, get some joint in the muscle. Then we load heavy in that mid to lengthened range, a little bit short of course, but more so that mid range. And then we come back and we toast them with a full range movement and making sure you're going through that and trying to get every single bit of movement left of those delts out on that exercise. It's, you know, it's very, very efficient exercise. Like you're not using a load of weight, so it's not going to be super taxing to you, so you can accumulate a little bit more volume on those fully lengthened lateral raises. But if you think about the way you're setting up those exercises, you will get more out of those delts. You'll be able to add more sets in without the same fatigue if you do it, you know, thinking about mechanics, thinking about the way that drops off, and just being a little bit more tactile about it. So delts are done. Obviously we did the 2 sets on the nautilus press. Now we're going to come on to a long rope tricep pull down. Why the long rope, Josh? Well, let me tell you. Because if you're doing a short rope which stops here, you get stuck here, and you internally rotate, you protract to the shoulders, and you also reduce that force angle to not be able to get into a fully lengthened position for that long head bicep. Whereas we've got the 2 long ropes, or the long rope I should say, we can go into a fully lengthened position to a fully short position without having to. So final exercise here for the triceps. I do hold a lot of value in just putting your shoulder into a bit of extension and doing a tricep extension as well. I don't really want to go do the Atlantis one just today because I did it the last session, so I've been alternating the ropes overhead and also the Atlantis machine, which is just like a overhead machine, but all we're going to do is lean forward, put ourselves into a state of extension, get to a really, really lengthened position with that tricep, hold your steady, hold that core, just fully extend through. And the long rope here doesn't make sure it doesn't bang your head because it's nice and long, unless you've got extremely long arms. Alright guys, so that's section done. My delts are absolutely frazzled. I wanted to keep it just kind of specifically on delts because like it's quite nice to see different representations of how you can grow things. Like now you can see it visually. We've obviously done the sit-down versions of these. So now you can take some practical elements from this session into your own sessions. Remember guys, thinking about working that shoulder short, but getting it nice and warm first, then loading because you're neurologically connected, making sure that you're warming up properly over those sets, ready for that top set, and you're not just going from cold to straight to your top set, you're acclimating very slowly. Loading that mid-range with a big press. Again, Remember, presses aren't essential. And then finishing off with a full range motion on those delts. But remember, there's also your front delts, which we hit with that upper chest movement. In most presses, you're going to be hitting that front delt, so I personally wouldn't train your front delts. I think they get enough. If you noticeably have like a flat portion here, then all right, maybe you've got a little bit of scope for some, but most people, in my experience, they have fine front delts. And then guys, don't forget your rear delts. But for me, I touch those on my pull day. So really, we're just focusing on that upper chest and those lateral delts here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. Let me know if you do. Drop a comment, drop a like, support your boy. And we'll be back in the next video, guys. Peace.